How's it going, guys? It's Eclipse here, and today we're taking a look at what I think could possibly come out after this Action Heroes season ends. Whether we'll get a new season, whether we'll get our maps back, whether we'll get some new tank lines, whether we'll get new maps, I don't know. But we'll kind of go over the things that we could possibly come out as part of this update, and kind of think about some things that would be really cool to see in the game. So first things first, obviously the season ends on the 26th of January in the morning at 10 o'clock British time. Would be like 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, and I think 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, so East Coast America. So yeah, that's something you should keep note of. So keep grinding away at this. Get your Huntsman Centurion, and also the 268 version 5 and the tier 9 concept 1B if you haven't already, using those last missions that you've got. And basically what we're going to think about is what's coming in after this update. So I'm thinking we may see a new tank line. We didn't get one last year, and we've got a few contenders basically, and that is either the double-barreled Heavies or the wheeled light tanks. Now, do I think they're 100% coming into the game? Not necessarily, because obviously as part of the last update, 6.0, we did see that there were quite a lot of things to do with the tech trees. We got a classified one, so whether Wargaming are now going to leave those tanks that are in the standard one and focus more on a potentially World of Tanks Console 2, if that makes sense, so like the newer modern tanks, and move away from the old ones that we've got, or whether they'll kind of give some more info on that and not give us anything. But we'll look over the wheeled light tanks and also the double barrel tanks, and then we could potentially see the Polish mediums sometime this year if they focus on kind of the kind of tech trees and tank lines that we currently have. So what are wheeled light tanks? These are French light tanks that have wheels, obviously, because they're wheeled light tanks. And the kind of novel thing about this is instead of the tracks, they just get their wheel knocked out, and I think they lose speed instead and mobility. They're far more they're a lot faster than anything else in the light tank lines that you've seen before. You've got the EBR 105 being a real problem in PC version, so I'm assuming that in console they would drastically nerf them before they come into the game, and I'm expecting that would already be the case for when they do come in / if they come in. They start at tier 6 going up to tier 10, so if you want to kind of maybe prepare, then you might be able to get yourself in the AMX ELC and get a bit of XP to be able to just instantly research the tier 6, and also save up some of that free XP to get through some of the worse tanks. So yeah, these tanks can basically turn really, really fast. They're really, really fast. The maneuverability and stuff when they first came into PC was ridiculous, and they kind of broke the matchmaker, and loads of people were just constantly playing these just because they were that overpowered. It was really hard to hit them. I'm not entirely sure now. They are really hard to hit, but yeah, I don't know whether I'd like this. I kind of like the look of them just because they look cool. Like the tier 10, that looks pretty cool, and I like the marks of excellence, but whether I'd like it in game, for the simple fact of just people YOLOing and not being able to get hit by the team. It's bad enough now when medium tanks just YOLO into the base and people can't seem to hit them. But yeah, so I'm not entirely sure whether I like that, and the spotting on them is ridiculous too. So those are the tier 10 light tanks. They get these are the wheeled light tanks, and these get fairly decent guns. This one gets a 105, obviously. The EBR 90, the tier 9, gets a 90mm with 240 alpha. and they just get upgraded as you go through. The DPM is fairly poor, obviously, as you can expect, because that's kind of the sacrifice when you get that speed. Maneuverability is that your DPM suffers quite badly, and the ability to spot is the other kind of benefit of these. So yeah, they kind of go up in caliber guns, really, 75mm to 90 to 105. And yeah, these tanks could be quite interesting to play. So yeah, they come in at tier 6, just to reiterate. So the other thing that came in fairly early last year was double-barreled heavies. I think it was in the first half of the year, and these come in at tier 8 instead of tier 6 with the French wheeled light tanks, and these are heavies. So they're kind of quite interesting and novel because they have double barrels, as by the name, and this allows you to shoot one shot and then reload the other shot whilst you keep that shot in the magazine, or you can fire both barrels at one time to do twice the damage of your normal shot for the equivalent tank at the tier. So the IS-22 is got the IS-2 hull, I think, and this it's quite an interesting one because you can do 600 alpha at tier 8, which is really nice on a heavy tank, but you do get a long reload if you do that. But the DPM is actually not bad at 2117 on a tier 8, and this is potentially one of the better tier for tier double barrel tanks in the game. They are not really slow, so they can go 34 kilometers an hour forward on the tier 8, which is good, and the turrets are really strong except from the cupola on the IS-22 and the ST2. The tier 9 is not so bad, it's quite low profile, but you can pen the turret with high pen damage guns. So yeah, the tier 9 gets 390 alpha and can do 780 damage for the double barrel shot, and the tier 10 gets 440 alpha and 880 for shooting both at once. What I should mention though is you can bounce one round when you fire the two shots and pen the other, so you can actually end up only doing 440, or you can also bounce as well, both of them. And so obviously you've got to make sure that you're going to pen when you load up the double barrel nature. So yeah, those are the double-barreled and the French-wheeled light tanks that might be coming in after this season. I'm not entirely sure. And what I am expecting is, or pretty much expecting, is probably some of the maps that they were working on to have been released again, because I know that that's been a real focus on the forums and on all of their social media to really push to be able to get the next tank. And as you can see, what's interesting is that I believe this map right here, with the Huntsman Centurion, is actually Westfield, which is interesting because it's not actually in the game at the minute, and that kind of makes me think that potentially we could see that map back in the game. I'm not entirely sure that it is Westfield, but from what I can gather, it does look a little bit like Westfield, with the town being down somewhere over here and this being the bit at the top on the right of the map, at the big hill, where usually you fight over that ridge line. So yeah, that's really that. And you can see that the Concept 1B here, that looks like Tietval Ridge, but whether they're trying to hint at anything or whether that's just like a kind of concept art type thing is yet to gather. But yeah, that's something we should note, that the maps will probably be reintroduced, as I think that they did say that they were actually working on some of the older maps as part of this update. And yeah, I think we should definitely kind of focus on that sort of thing, and also these new tanks that are coming out. Bug fixes are obviously going to be part of this new season and fix type thing. They've not given us anything at all in terms of teaser for the next season yet, and I will do a video when that kind of drops, if that drops. I'm not even 100% sure that they'll do another season, but I'm pretty much I'm 99% sure that they will, because it has been really successful in the past, and I do like the battle pass. And I'm thinking this time when it comes out, what I'll do is I'll give you an overview of the battle pass, and also give you an overview of any of the changes that come out in separate videos, and just kind of give you as much knowledge as to what's out there, as to what I think, and also what the community generally thinks about the different things that are in the game. And that's something I've quite like to do. We will look at some of the actual news that came out after my last news video. I did release it slightly early, I guess, but it was basically just that we'll be getting a bonus XP this weekend, starting on Friday, and we'll just basically get some more XP. And I think that is actually just that you get times 3 XP on your first win of the day, and I think that finishes on January 25th and starts on January 22nd, so keep your eyes out for that. So if you want to grind through the last bits of tanks, and also you've got that 200% XP boost from the season pass if you've actually completed it, then you'll be getting a lot of XP on your first win of the game to get yourselves through all of those kind of things, tanks that you've been grinding. Final thing is, maybe we'll get the Polish mediums, but that might be sometime later on in the year, and that's not guaranteed at all. So, none of these things that I've mentioned are necessarily guaranteed, but I did want to mention them as part of this video, just so that you kind of had a heads up in case they did come in. And if you want to spend the time trying to get some XP on those tanks prior to the ones on these tech lines, then it will always be good, because eventually I do expect that they'll come into the game at some point. I am expecting, however, that the new tanks, the kind of modern ones, by the looks of things on the tech tree, to come out as part of this next season. I also do want to note that probably be expecting something like some more equipment, because I believe that they did actually say that equipment will be given as part of this update. It's somewhere on the forums, I believe, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't count me on that. And also some new perks, I believe, would be coming out. And also there's quite a few different things that I did see on the forums, especially with advanced statistics, that they would be coming into the game, because obviously they're classified at the minute, and so I think that's just a way of them saying that they didn't actually manage to finish it before the release date of the update, and I'll be expecting that fairly soon as part of the next update that comes into the game. This update will probably be smaller and won't contain as many things. It will just be putting things that were good about the game previously back into the game that they removed, and just fixing a lot of the bugs and things that came into the game, as well as potentially trying to bring in something new, like a new tank line or a new tech tree or something like that. But I hope you guys did find the video interesting to see what kind of things could come into the game, and also what we currently know and what we could possibly expect in terms of what PC have had in the last year, and that being implemented into this year's version of console, World of Tanks. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. If you want me to cover anything else, or you have any information that you want me to have a look at, then definitely comment below and give me some feedback. Also, like the video if you did, and subscribe and check out some of the other content on the channel, and I'll be greatly appreciated. I know that we reached 1,000 subscribers really quickly, actually, and I thank you all for kind of being here and watching the videos. It's been really exciting, and I hope we can kind of make a lot more things for everyone involved in the community in the next year. And I hope to see you in the next video. Goodbye. Appreciate your time.